Good afternoon, everyone. And before I start my topic, new way of mobile game marketing, I would just want to introduce my company first, Funplus. How many of you have heard about Funplus before? Please raise your hand. Okay. And I think in the last presentation from Facebook, Steve, it is mentioned twice on the presentation about Funplus and our games, Royal Story. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you. And so for the first part, let me do a short introduction. First, let's watch a video about Funplus. Okay. Sorry for that.
Their games are very popular. I know a lot of my friends on Facebook that I haven't even talked to about working at Funplus or the games that I work on, they have the games. They play them all the time.
Funplus 是一个将最好的游戏带到全球的公司。以我们现在代理的《DOTA 传奇》，或者说将来要代理其他游戏而言，它都是在某一个特定区域已经证明了它是最好的。
Funplus really special is that it's a Beijing Chinese company that makes all of its money and all of its success worldwide.
Got employees from all over the world. Almost half of the employees are international.
我们团队有荷兰的，有美国的，有土耳其的。
一个部门都有外国人和中国人结合在一起。
Here, I think it doesn't really matter who you are. If you have a great idea, then people want to hear it.
我们很疯狂的在做事情，老板也很疯狂的在想很多可以让公司更好的事情。
Funplus really has a group of people that are super passionate about games and making cool and innovative games. Takes the best care of their players and makes games that other game makers talk about as being really cool.
相信 Funplus 肯定会成功，所以我会跟着他一起。
Okay, thank you for watching. And Funplus was founded in 2010. And at the first beginning, it is a developer for Facebook web page games. And it is the number 6 in MAU worldwide and the number 1 in Asia. And last year, it expanded its business into mobile site. We distributed some mobile game in Southeast Asia and Taiwan, some regions. And now we have more than 300 employees across the world. We have Beijing office, we have New York office, we have Vancouver office, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, and more in Singapore will coming soon. Since it started, Funplus triple or double its revenue every year, and thanks for the long lifetime of Facebook gaming, we have a lot of loyalty users, and they are accumulated more than 20 million fans in Facebook. And this is some titles we can see that in the pages, like Family Farms or Royal Stories that on Facebook, and .arena or MT2 will be launched on mobile site. And the unique of Funplus, which have been introduced on the video as well, that is, we are quite a global companies. Like 40% of employees are foreigners. And also, we will have dedicated team members in different locations to do the on-ground promotion for our games. And also, the past Facebook games have proved our success on the loyalty games, simulation games. And we enter into the mobile games and launched Dota Arena quite successful in Southeast Asia last year. In the past, cooperation with big market leaders like Facebook, Apple, Google, we have good relationship with all of them. And also, Funplus aim to help small developers to go global. And then we're talking about what we do is that the marketing for mobile games for today. The emphasis about this title is on news. But why we put this quotation on new? Since all the method I will mention today is not new or not is innovated for everyone here. It is some traditional ones. But in the past, few people use them in mobile industries because they have been seen out of date. But now something has changed. First, we have already witnessed the fast growth about mobile game in the past. And we all can focus that this trend will continue in the few years later. And since the first days, performance marketing has become a good partner of the mobile game because it is quite flexible in planning. Everyone can control all the channels. It can start and close by yourself. And also, it is very good at targeting. Everyone knows we have a lot of data, like demographic ones, region ones, device ones, or even interesting in the behavior, help us to find our real customers. And then it is quite suitable for all scale companies. No matter you have 100 million in your budget or you only have $100, you still can find suitable channels to promotion your games. And also, of course, it is available to be tracked in all the formats, and it is easy to calculate the ROI of it. So it is no doubt that we can see that performance marketing grows fast in the last decades. This pages about US online advertising revenue split. We can see performance marketing just gain share gradually in the last decade, and very fast in the past 10 years. But recently, it has stumped for seems like 2012. But on the other side, the branding ones, which is gain share back, which it lost a lot in past 10 years. Why it will happen on this part? Because in most of the mobile industry players' concept, that the traditional ones, the branding ones, is quite out of date, and it is being criticized because it cannot be tracked, cannot be measured. And it is only suitable for some traditional industry, maybe FMCG, auto, etc. But with the developer of mobile game users and the good of the branding status have been taken effect in the digital world as well. Talking about branding, marketing, what format you will think first? For me, it is TV commercials, because we all know that it is used frequently for all these traditional ones. This is a TV commercial we use for our upcoming launched game, MMT2, which will be launched this weekend in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and Macau. Okay. TV commercial has been used quite frequently nowadays in the mobile gaming promotion. We all know that famous Clash of Clans TV commercial on Super Bowl, and as well, more and more small companies also use TVC as a promotion. A successful case study about TV commercial we maybe all know about, that is the Puzzle Dragon. The game was launched in the mid of 2012, and at the first beginning, it received good feedback from the Japan market. It accumulated around 2 million downloads with several months. But after that, the growth of download just slowed down. So Puzzle Dragon launched their first TV commercial in October. And we can see from the chart about the download, it is just speed up. And finally, we all know Puzzle Dragon began a nationwide games, which is #1 in Japan as well as #1 in worldwide. And with this successful case, and we can see on the right that the Japanese top game companies all invest more on TV commercials. In the past 5 years, the investment on TV commercial for Japanese top 5 game company just almost triple every year. And this is not happened in Japan. This trend is swept all of the Asias, and this is the map including a lot of countries, and we can see the red ones that was heavily used TV commercial as a method. And on the right, it is a list about all the TV commercials happened in the first week of April in Taiwan. You can count that totally 21 mobile games have launched their TV campaigns at 3 days at weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of are new games and some are old games. So it becomes very fierce competition in these small markets. and not only TV. A lot of other traditional methods of branding marketing has been used. For example, magazines, press media, trim bodies of subway, billboard, LED, and maybe gathering, e-sport tournament, or other like hiring some celebrities to represent your games. So as we all know that when all this branding become a requirement for people to launch a game, to do the marketing, a question also arises. Is this big-scale branding marketing suitable for all the games? Of course, the answer is no. So we have more questions like which game is suitable for this branding marketing, and in which region will have the most effective result, and which media should we use, and when should we put out our branding marketing. And before we answer these questions in detail, three critical checks maybe need to be done before that. First check is about the game quality, because we all know every money you spend on these games, if the game quality is not good, it will be a waste. And the second is huge investment, because branding is not like performance marketing. You can open whenever you want and close whenever you want. You need to do a lot of planning in advance, communicate with all the media channels, and do the booking in upfront, and pay the money in advance. So even when you find the results maybe not reach your expectations, you cannot pull the money back. And the last one is leadership support. This one is quite important. And because we have mentioned, for branding compared to performance marketing, it is difficult to be measured. The data is quite recently, it is this February for US. And I think it is the most advantaged market which can represent the highest level we can measure branding or advertising. But even ask the CMO in US, and the majority of people the answer of how can you measure the branding and social media marketing, the answer is no. And even the ones who say, yes, we can measure, it is focused on the qualitative rather than the quantitative analysis. So you need to get your support from your leadership at first about such a huge investment to do a branding. And then when the three checks, the answer are all yes, then we can do some detailed analysis and think about the planning of the branding. The first is the targeted user base. As we all know, the game genre is really impact on the game's audience. If you have a casual game, of course, you will have reach more users than a hardcore game. And the mass media can help a lot on this to help you scale up your size. And the second is population concentrate. It is not only mean the concentration about the region, but also as the media concentration. Just like the example Puzzle and Dragon on TV, because Japan only have 8 on-air channels. So every people, hundreds million people watch the TV channel at the same time. And another is, if you want to buy a billboard outside some buildings, you must know about the traffic of the locations. If it is a very crowded places, maybe it's a good choice. So in Hong Kong, you can see a lot of billboards, but maybe in Russia, it's not. And then another is product circle. Different product lifetime depends on the genre and the behavior of the customer. But it's really important for your decision to make up branding. In different regions, it also have different results. For example, in Japan or in China, most players will use performance marketing at first, taste the game, and the attractive first batch of the users. When all the feedback is good and they want to scale up the size, then they will use a lot of new methods for branding for their games. But in some small regions, like Taiwan, like Hong Kong, you must concentrate all your resources at the same time to make your game launch as a blast. Then you can attractive as much as able you can. And the first is the IP. Mention IP is because IP quite hot in these years. And based on the online data, if an IP game versus a non-IP game, it can attractive like 4 times more clicks or users on the same position, like banner or something like that. And this scale will be enlarged on mass media. So when you consider all these 4 factors, maybe combined with your game situations, you can have overall branding. And summarize about all the brandings that you need to do for your branding marketing. First is you must familiar with your games as well as your customers. You know how to find your customers, what's their behaviors, which channel they watch, where they go. And the secondly is you have the local knowledge about all the medias. You know their situations. Of course, you need to look into the competition status as well. And the third is you must combine with the performance marketing and other resources together, because we still see the data that majority share of the promotion still online. If you combine online and offline, it will be enlarge the whole impact. Okay, so nowadays promotion of games in different regions is not an easy job. So Funplus really want to help a lot of small developers if they don't have such experience or money to do that. So recently, we have launched a new plan, which called Publish Plus. And for Publish Plus, what we do, our goal is to make best games to deliver all the players worldwide. And we want to find some people have the same goal with us. And what we can offer, first is the financial support. We will have 100% upfront investment on your game or your studios, and we will give some various resource support from your concept to operations. And also, we will help you to do your published works worldwide on iOS and Android. Of course, we will have revenue share 50%, but the developer will own the IP by them. And which player we target? We target all the developers who do free-to-play games, no matter its size or its region. And this is some supported we can provide it to the partners, like the art design, like the technical support, like the data analysis, localization, financial, monetization, and operation as well. And if you want to look into more information, you can go to our website, funplus.com. There have a detail about how the steps to supply and join the plan. And in the last, I want to summarize about some partners we have cooperated in the last years. Funplus just do the business distribution year since last September, but we have already launched several titles quite successful in Southeast Asia. Like Dota Arena, we launched it last September, and the highest growth ranking on Southeast Asia region is #1 in Singapore, #2 in Malaysia, #3 in Thailand. And it is maintained in top 5 for a long time, still in top 10. And a new game title we launched recently in Taiwan is MMT2. And the highest top 3 grossing it reached is #1 in Android and #4 in iOS. And it will come in soon to Singapore and Malaysia as well. So looking forward to cooperation with all the developers, and hope your games can be the next. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Wenyi. We do have time for probably one question, I think, if anyone in the audience has one. If not, there is one thing I'd like to ask. I mean, I find it really interesting that you're moving into publishing.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of independent mobile developers, and mobile, really, the promise of it was this new place where people could be independent and make games and not have to use publishers anymore. But obviously there's so many games out there now, it's really, really hard to find success. Does mobile need publishers now to give developers a way of actually getting their audiences, and the need to return to that old way of thinking?
Because we all know that for global distribution and marketing, it is more and more difficult, because we have a lot of new games launched every year, and a lot of small studios maybe don't have the experience to doing that. That's why we launched Publish Plus, and this can give some supporting for all these aspects the small developers need it, especially the regions maybe they are not familiar with, or maybe they are short of money to finish the games they are developer, or some other knowledge they are lack of, or even we can contribute to some resource, like human resource or other resource, help them to finish that.
So just being more flexible than publishers used to be, basically.
Yeah.
Letting them keep the IP, better share of the revenue, things like that. So still retaining some independence in there as well.
Yeah, we are quite flexible that only it is focused on mobile. So you need to be iOS and Android games this time. Maybe future we will launch some other plan for other platforms. And we don't mind about your studio size or mind about which location languages that you use. All these things is we do the global distributions. So we want to find partners global-wide.
Well, that should be of interest to some people in the audience, no doubt, and I'm sure Wenyi will be happy to talk to anyone who wants to discuss that. In the meantime, round of applause, please.
Thank you.